Alright, today is it's Monday, July 8th, 2013. I finished work about 8 p.m. and I rode my motorcycle back to Osaka. It took about an hour and a half driving. I didn't drive on the freeway because it costs freaking $9. It's ridiculous. So I had to go just the regular roads, and that's why it took a long time. But yeah, anyways, I wanted to talk about like I haven't made a Viary in a long time, so I just want to talk about my move to Osaka basically. And what happened was, I just woke up one morning in April and I just said, Ryan, I am sick of your bullshit and your excuses. I mean, I had been thinking about moving for a long time and just thinking about it and thinking about it. And I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. Like if you have something in your heart or in your mind that just keeps on reoccurring, that is some spiritual energy that's drawing you to make a decision. You got to act on it. I think when you suppress that kind of stuff, it's damaging. And I just came to my wits' end, and I was like, man, I am so tired of you just thinking about it and having this inner dialogue in your head. Do something about it. So I got up that morning. I got on the train. I went to Osaka. As soon as I got out of Osaka station, I saw this beautiful girl, and I walked right up to her and I said, hey, I'm looking for this realtor. Can you help me find it? And I thought maybe she would just say go this way or go that way. She ended up walking me to this realtor, and it took like 20 minutes to walk over there, and she was really nice. I mean, just talking to me. It wasn't like, she was like really into me or anything, but she was just kind. And we ended up exchanging contact info, and we ended up texting each other after that, and she became a pretty good friend. Her name's Yuki. She was in one of my videos actually. And anyways, that was like a good omen. That was a good omen. And the next day I came back to Osaka and I was like, this is the day I'm going to make a decision. No more screwing around, thinking about it, over analyzing it. I said, I'm just going to make a decision with the choices that I'm presented with, because I just want to make a decision. I just want to settle this once and for all. And I did. I made a decision, and I felt great that I had made a decision. I wasn't sure if it was the right decision, but at least I had taken action. So on May 1st, it was a Wednesday, I packed up all my stuff. And even that was emotionally difficult for me because I had gathered a lot of stuff over the years, and I just was like, I can't bring all this junk with me. It's just weighing me down. So I went through all my junk, and I said to myself, if you haven't used it in the last 6 months, you have to chuck it. And that's what I did. And I threw away a lot of stuff related to my ex-wife. And I don't know, do you believe that the place you live in is connected to an energy that can either be good or bad? Because I think the place I was living in was connected to a bad energy. I mean, after my wife had left, I lived in that little apartment for 2 more years, maybe 2.5. But I went through 2 winters, 2 lonely winters there by myself, just kind of dwelling and being depressed and sad about this breakup. And I think all that emotional weight was just really heavy in that place where I lived, and I needed to get out of there. I needed to get out of there, and I'm so glad I did. I'm so glad I made a choice to change and try to get out of that rut. And the first night I came here, man, it was lonely. There was it was just floors and walls, and it had no flavor, no feeling to it, no welcoming feeling or ambiance. And I was so tired that day. I just been packing and packing. My fingertips hurt, and the muscles in my hands hurt. And I just came here and I just collapsed on my futon. That's all I had the energy to do, was just roll out the futon, take out my contacts, and bam, I was out. And I woke up in the middle of the night and I was like, oh God, where am I? What time is it? I looked at my cell phone and only an hour had passed. And then I went back to sleep again, and I had a really crappy sleep because I was dreaming a lot of dreams. And I dreamed about my dad, and I dreamed about my ex-wife, and I dreamed about my dog that I lost. She died a few years back before I had met my wife, and when I woke up in the morning, I just had this overwhelming feeling of peace though. It was like I had those dreams of people I love dearly and who all have some kind of tight emotional connection to me. But with my wife, it was like I felt like, you know, this is the last time I'm gonna dream about her. It's over, you know. I finished it. I closed that chapter in my life, and now this place that I live in, this is my place, and this is where my new life starts. And I felt this overwhelming sense of peace. Like I might dream about her again someday, but it's not gonna be like before, where I'd wake up just feeling sad and so depressed and heavy and wanting to cry. No. I just knew that was over, and that felt great, and my new life started in Osaka. So first I had to deal with basic things, you know, where's the supermarket? When can I throw out the trash? How do I get to this place? How do I get to that place? Just very basic things. Had to set up cable, you know, get all my accounts started with bills and stuff, and gas and electricity, and had to get all that started. So I was just dealing with the basic stuff, and it was tough at first, and it was kind of lonely, but actually as soon as I got here, man, I started making friends. You know, it was just like, I'm not a shy person. It's easy for me to go up to people and talk to them. It's just whether or not I have the I'm thinking in Japanese, yaruki, whether or not I have the motivation to do it. And I was making lots of friends. I was going out every night. In the daytime, I would be like walking around my neighborhood, finding out where I could find the cheapest food, and I had to buy like some appliances and stuff. And just, I remember I'd come home in the evening, and my feet would just hurt so bad, because when I lived in Kobe, I was always getting around by motorcycle. And even though I work out at the gym, like I didn't use those muscles that you use when you walk around a lot. I was having pain in my feet with muscles I didn't even know I had, and I would just lay down at night exhausted, and I would sleep well. And you know, at nighttime I'd meet up with new friends I had made. I was partying a lot. I was meeting a lot of people, a lot of guy friends and a lot of girls too, and just having crazy times, just exactly what I wanted. And you know, I was like wondering, you know, if I come back to Osaka again, you know, would things be different, or would they be like they were before? Well, let me tell you what, they were not only like they were the way when I used to Osaka. I lived in Osaka 10 years ago. They were not only as good as that, but better. I mean, I was having funner times, and just, it was more awesome than it was 10 years ago. So I knew right there and right then that I just made the right decision, and I had done the right thing, and it totally, just moving here just got me out of that depression, that rut, you know. And I would recommend, man, if you are in a place in your life where you're depressed, or you're getting over something that is very tragic or hurtful, and you just have this sinking feeling in your heart, and you have a glimpse of some way you can change that, do it, you know, do it. Yeah, it was a little tough at first financially. I had to spend a lot of money to move in here, and I had to deal with a few lonely nights in a place that I didn't feel familiar with. But I'm telling you, after like, I'd say after 2 to 3 weeks, it started to feel like my home. And just a lot of fun. And you know, I remember one thing my dad said. My dad, when he was in his mid-40s, and this is after he had gotten divorced, he started his own business. And you got to remember, up until then, he had just been a salary worker, getting that same paycheck every month. But he retired early after starting that business. I think he did it for probably less than 10 years. But he became very successful, and he was able to retire in his mid-50s. And I asked my dad, I said, you know, is there anything you regret about starting your business? Anything that you didn't see coming, that you wish you would have known before you started your own business? And he said no. He said there was only one thing, and that's that I asked myself, I said, why didn't I do this earlier? You know, I could have made more money from an earlier age. I just could have made my life easier from an earlier point. And that's exactly how I feel after moving to Osaka. You know, I stayed in that little dingy, depressing, dark, small, cramped apartment for 9 years, feeling like an animal in a cage. And it was just all based on fear. It was just all fear of change and, you know, going into the unknown. And I feel the same way my dad did about starting his business. I'm just like, why didn't I do this earlier? Sure, there was a few tough obstacles I had to get through, but man, it was worth it. I am much happier now. So my life is taking some interesting turns. I mean, I moved here for one reason, but now my life is going in a different direction than the reason I had moved here. So that's something that's interesting too, and that's something I want to talk about in a separate video. But overall, I just wanted to say that I am very happy I moved here. I don't regret it one bit at all. It turned out to be better than I expected. And that's it, man. If you want to make a change in your life, man, just do it. I hope that I could encourage you. I hope that you can see it through my change, that me taking this risk into the unknown, that, you know, maybe you can do it too. I want you to do it. I want to help people. I mean, I make these videos for myself to track my own life so that someday I can look back on my life and see the things I did and the decisions I made. But if this helps somebody, that's awesome.